Yo, what's going on, guys? Bexio back, and today we got a brand new video. This time talking about the COD World League, and that is right, the new COD World League. That is, I think they changed their name to like the CDL. I don't know what it stands for. I saw it once and thought it was dumb. As you can tell by the title, we're going to be talking about how this franchising and becoming a league is just not good for esports and not what esports is meant to do. It's physically just not what esports is, how it's going to thrive or how anything is going to actually work. First off, there's going to be a huge entry fee. There's a huge barrier to entry. I think CWO spots are going for like 25 or 30 million a spot. And to think about that is just insane. Like, people are buying these spots left and right at 25, 30 million, and we've never even seen prize pools get to that high. Like, we have never seen a COD player worth that much money, or even half that much money. Maybe not even a quarter of that much money. I mean, even if you look at like Scumpy and his whole entire net worth of Scumpy is not 30 million. I mean, they're trying to go for probably like an NFL, NBA type of vibe, but you just can't do that. The esports is so different and so new that leagues just aren't going to work. You can't alienate, especially in COD. You know, games, they have to try and withstand the test of time. There is very few games that can be relevant and stay relevant for 10 years and 10 years plus. And COD is one of those games. COD's the game that has stayed relevant. There's a new COD every year, but it's still the title. People go out and buy it every single year. There's hype around it every single year, and people just love COD. And that's one of the reasons that you've seen esports on the rise in COD as well, because the more people have been exposed to esports, and COD was a game where if you were good enough, you could have a chance to play against the pros on land. And that would mean so much because you'd get the experience of playing them. Maybe you could upset them and beat them and take their spot, which has happened in the past in in the qualifiers, last chance qualifiers, all that kind of stuff for like the mini league that they kind of ran this year and last year with World War II and Black Ops 4. You know, the pro league that COD World League ran. You had to qualify to get in, and those teams were locked in for the entire year. So that was still a mistake to do like that type of thing, in my opinion, but here we are. So another thing, besides just literally there's no point to it, because becoming like a traditional sport is not going to work in esports. Like I said, with traditional sports, football, basketball, soccer, like all these kind of stuff, you have to be on the field at the same time as everybody else to play the game. You don't have to do that with esports. You don't have to be at the same place at the same time to play a game. You can have someone in New York playing with someone in Cali at the same time. So you do not have to be anywhere near each other to play games with each other. And that's the beauty of esports, is anyone, if you have the console or the PC, you can play against anyone else, and that's a guarantee. You can just play against anyone else at any time, anywhere, and that's why, you know, the esports is such a big thing. Other than just making the league, like, your chances of just playing with LeBron is almost zero unless you're in the NBA. So, like, playing against Scump or playing against Optic or FaZe or Envy, that is possible, and you can even do that on LAN, but you can do it online as well. You can play a match against them, and now you're playing pro players on their game and seeing how you match up against them, which is just not possible in traditional sports. You know, you can't go up to a court and just play against LeBron. You can't go up to a football field and try and tackle or outrun Saquon Barkley. Like, you cannot do these things because they're just not going to. You can't do it, and you can do it in esports. And another reason, number 3 here, for these spots Oh my God, for these spots, 25 million, 30 million these spots are going for. This is ridiculous amounts of money. Like I said before, prize pools haven't even got to that high. Haven't even got to half of that, a quarter of that. So why would someone buy in for $30 million into a spot where how long is it going to take them to get that money back? It's going to take forever. And I mean, to me, it just doesn't make sense to have a league because teams have been running esports and running their teams, doing fine. They got their own contracts. If they buy out players, it's not like traditional trades like in sports leagues. You just have a team come up to you if they want a player, they can buy out their contract, and you have to agree to it. If you both agree, then there you go. It's basically your trading system. But including buyouts and stuff and money, the ROI for a CWL spot, like if you watched the Banks No Jumper podcast with Banks and Mike from Lovesack. If you watch that, you hear Banks talk about it. He talks about how I don't even know if FaZe Clan is going to be in the COD World League because it doesn't seem like it's something he thinks is going to be successful, and I don't blame him. For $30 million to get that money back might take 50 years. Like in that World League or in the league, I don't know what they're called, CDL, but it might take 30 years, 50 years to get your 30 million back. Whereas you could go and put that into something else and make it grow into more money instead of just putting it into a CWL spot, CDL spot, and seeing what happens. So I think, the only games that have stood this test of time is COD, CSGO, and I don't know how long League of Legends has been out, but probably League of Legends, and then maybe Dota. But other than that, games die off. That's what happens with games. They just don't have a player base anymore. So that's one of the biggest concerns too, is what if you spend 30 million and then 2 years later the game dies off and now you got, you're still competing, you're in the league competing, but now you're competing in front of 2,000 viewers for a tourney, for an event, instead of 150,000 or 200,000. It's just, that's the risk I guess these guys are taking, these teams are taking, but franchising overall is just such a bad idea. Mainly, we'll run through the points really quick. It's too freaking expensive. 30 million? Come on, 30 million for a spot? That is insane. Esports landscape, it just doesn't work for it. Games have to stand the test of time. Overwatch, we'll see what happens with Overwatch. I think it was super hyped before. I used to watch Overwatch and play Overwatch, and now I've never gone back to it. I've never played it in years, haven't watched it in years. It's just something I'm not into. So there's a problem running with those. So you got price, longevity, and with COD, less of a risk there because it's kind of proven that the fan base loves it. But the biggest thing, the absolute biggest thing to do with this is alienating your players, your amateur players, the people who aren't pros, who aren't the best at the game, who have potential to be at the best of the game. They might be better than pros, but now they won't be given the stage to show it. Even this year, amateur players were not able to play against pro players. It just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like if you're a pro player, you should want to play players. Amateur teams, you should love that. It should be the easiest map series of your life if you're playing an amateur team, right? You're a pro player. You're the best at the game. The AM scene and the S&D scene have run this whole esports for so long. And now you're basically like, yeah, thanks for doing that, but we're going to go our separate ways. And we're going to make a league, make 16 $30 million spots, and just go there. Like, I would not be surprised if FaZe Clan is not involved in the league at all. It doesn't sound like maybe if they already have a spot, and I don't know, then I sound real dumb right now. But I would not be surprised if FaZe Clan is not in the league. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's, right now we have what? I think Optic, I think Envy's in the league. And, 100 Thieves is probably going to get a spot because it's Nade Shot if they don't have one already. And, what other orgs? What other big orgs are there? Maybe there's like orgs that no one's ever heard of. There's people from the Overwatch League getting in. There's people that have never been involved in COD esports getting in, and I think that's just going to ruin the viewing experience. It's going to ruin everything, bringing these people in. And I hope as an AM scene, we're able to create our own thing. You know, get rid of these guys. We have local land runners, people like NJ Rod, AFD, what is it? ETG. There you go. I got it. ETG. I mean, NJ Rod, ETG, AFD. We have all these guys who run these local lands who have decent prize pools, and they're like 1 or 2 day events. Nothing insane. Still fun to go to and compete. Let me know what you think. Do you even know about the CWL or CDL, whatever they're calling themselves, this league, that every spot is getting sold for like $30 million. There's going to be 16 spots. I liked the idea of like, I'm not even going to lie, I hate the idea of a league. Absolutely hate it. I'm sure that is obvious from this video. Leagues are dumb, and they don't fit in esports, and it's not going to work out. But we'll see where it goes. We'll see what happens. Guys, as always, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe. I also want to support Real Channel Grow, and I'll see you guys in my next video.